Gibbons are the Formula One cars of the primate world. They swing through trees at speeds up to 35 miles per hour, covering gaps of 50 feet in a single arm swing, a movement called brachiation, and Gibbons are the undisputed champions of it. There are actually 20 different gibbon species, from the Lar gibbon to the Siamangs' smaller cousins, spread across Southeast Asia's rainforests. Here's the twist. Gibbons are one of the few primates that are monogamous. Pairs bond for life and sing coordinated duets every morning to mark their territory. It's not just noise, it's a love song and a warning sign at the same time. But here's the retention hook for the next section. One gibbon relative got bigger, louder, and turned that morning song into something that can be heard 2 miles away. The Siamang is technically a gibbon, but it's in a category of its own. Nearly twice the size of other gibbons, the Siamang has a throat sac that inflates like a balloon, amplifying its calls so far that entire valleys hear it at dawn. Found in Sumatra and Malaysia, Siamangs live in tight family units where both parents actively raise the young. The father even takes over childcare in the second year of the baby's life. That's rare in the animal kingdom. Siamangs are the bridge between lesser apes and great apes. Bigger brains, more complex social bonds, still no tail. And speaking of bigger, the next ape on this list is where things get serious. This is where great apes begin. Orangutans are the only great apes that live almost entirely alone in the trees. And they're the most arboreal great ape on Earth, spending over 90% of their life without touching the ground. There are actually 3 species, Bornean, Sumatran, and the Tapanuli orangutan, discovered and confirmed as its own species only in 2017, making it one of the rarest great apes alive, with fewer than 800 individuals left. Orangutans build a brand new sleeping nest every single night, engineered with a roof for rain. They also use tools, sticks to extract seeds, leaves as makeshift gloves and umbrellas. Their name literally means person of the forest in Malay. Now imagine that same intelligence, but living in groups of 30, led by one dominant figure. That's next. Gorillas are the largest primates on Earth. Males can weigh over 400 pounds and are strong enough to bend steel bars, yet 90% of their diet is plants. There are 2 species, eastern and western gorillas, each split into subspecies like the mountain gorilla and cross-river gorilla. The rarest great ape subspecies alive, with barely 300 left in the wild. Despite the King Kong image, gorillas are famously gentle. Silverbacks lead troops with calm authority, and confrontations are almost always resolved through chest-beating displays and posturing rather than actual violence. Real fights are rare. The whole performance exists specifically to avoid bloodshed. But if gorillas are the gentle giants, the next ape is the one you share the most history of violence and politics with. Chimpanzees share about 98.8% of your DNA, making them, alongside bonobos, your closest living relatives on the planet. Chimps live in complex political societies with alliances, rivalries, and power struggles that researchers have compared directly to human politics. They hunt in coordinated groups, use tools like termite fishing sticks and sharpened spears, and every community has its own unique culture. Different tool use, different gestures, passed down between generations. Here's the darker layer. Unlike gorillas, chimpanzees have been observed in organized, lethal conflicts between rival groups, the closest thing to warfare seen outside humans, which makes the final great ape on this list almost impossible to believe, because it's nearly identical to the chimpanzee genetically, and yet almost completely opposite in behavior. Bonobos are sometimes called the make-love-not-war ape, and for good reason. Genetically almost identical to chimpanzees, bonobos live in female-led societies where conflict is resolved through social bonding and affection rather than aggression. Lethal violence between bonobo groups has never been documented in the wild. That's an extraordinary contrast to their chimpanzee cousins living just across the Congo River. Same DNA, completely different social outcome. Bonobos were only formally recognized as a separate species in 1929, making them the most recently classified great ape. Scientists studying them have used bonobo society as proof that aggression isn't hardwired into ape, or human as biology. It's a choice shaped by environment, which brings us to the final ape on this entire list, the one nobody expects. Humans, yes. Biologically, you are an ape. Homo sapiens sits inside the same great ape family as gorillas, chimps, bonobos, and orangutans. Same classification, same ancestral tree. What separates us isn't the category, it's the scale. Humans build cities instead of nests, languages instead of calls, and civilizations instead of troops. But strip away technology and the blueprint underneath. The social bonding of bonobos, the political games of chimps, the quiet strength of gorillas, the solitary intelligence of orangutans, all of it is still visible in human behavior every single day. You didn't evolve away from apes. You are the eighth one.